In this episode, we're speaking with Professor Dan Davies, an expert in higher education leadership and management here at the University of Bath. His work is essentially around leadership, innovation, and helping senior academic leaders really transform themselves and their organizations. He leads the DBA program in higher education management here at the Bath University. Hello and welcome to the EduCon Podcast, where we speak to higher education institutions globally to understand what's happening in the ever-changing world of education. My name is Jahnavi, and today I find myself at the University of Bath. This conversation is brought to you by Java and Skoda. Professor Davies, thank you so much for joining with us today. I'm very excited to have a lovely chat with you about some of the work that you've been doing here at the University of Bath.
Thank you.
So you've dedicated a lot of your research talking about, applying management theory to leadership in higher education. How is running a university different from running a business?
Well, in many ways, there are a lot of similarities. Universities in the modern age are businesses, but at the same time, universities have many different stakeholders. So they have the academic and professional staff, they have the students, they have the parents, they have the local community, and I guess, the wider industry as well. So yes, it's complex. I think one of the main differences perhaps is that academic faculty staff are actually quite difficult to lead because they tend to have a lot of autonomy. And they are also very questioning, very critical, and so you have to maintain their trust.
Interesting. And some of your work talks a lot about strategy, risk, innovation, just talking about some very lighter themes over here. What are some of the things that you think are the biggest strategic risks universities must take, because we're living in a very complex and ever-changing world, right?
I think right now, the biggest risks are around different aspects of sustainability. Mm-hmm. So on one level, financial sustainability. Universities, whether they're in the public or the private sector, they're highly dependent on students as a source of income. To a greater or lesser extent, they're also dependent on governments and industry for funding for research. Mm-hmm. And they're in a very competitive environment. The rankings can make a huge difference to a university's reputation, and if you suffer some kind of reputational damage, then very soon your recruitment of students can go down, and that can really affect the bottom line of a university. So I'd say, financial sustainability is a really big strategic risk, but other kinds of sustainability as well. So environmental sustainability. We live in a world where there's a lot of internationalization in higher education. A lot of students are traveling to different countries for their higher education, and that all those flights creates a lot of carbon. So universities have to think much more carefully about how they do internationalization in a way that isn't going to damage the planet. And also they have a responsibility to the local environment, all the things that the universities do in their local environments and communities can potentially have an effect on the sustainability of that community. So I think, universities have to take sustainability and sustainable development very seriously.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Some of the things that you're also doing over here at the University of Bath is that you lead the DBA program, which is for higher education management, right? Why is that important for senior leaders in the education landscape to consider, do you think?
Yeah, so this is a doctoral program. It's a taught doctoral program for middle and senior leaders in universities around the world. It's a very international program. And I think that what our program provides for its participants is a truly international perspective on all of the trends affecting higher education, both now and potentially in the future. We think of greater competition and greater student mobility, but we also think about micro-credentials. We think about AI, which is having a huge impact on higher education. And I think what it provides our leaders with is a perspective that will enable them to position their universities in a sustainable place for the longer term, because they have an awareness of all of those big changes that are affecting the higher education landscape worldwide.
Very interesting. Along with teaching, for instance, senior leaders, like you mentioned, you've also created executive education programs for international governments, like Kazakhstan.
Yes.
Could you talk to us a little bit of that as well?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, we had a group of senior leaders from Kazakh universities came and spent 10 months with us on a bespoke leadership and management program in higher education. They had to do a research project as part of that. We took them to many universities around the UK, and they had to make a sustainable impact in their own universities back in Kazakhstan as a result of that. We've also run a number of very much shorter programs. Again, Kazakhstan, we've got one coming up for the University of Delhi next year as well. So we like to provide programs that are bespoke for the particular needs of the university and the capacity building that they need in order to manage effectively.
Very interesting. And for any people who are in the education space who are watching this video, right, do you have any words of advice to them as to how they must look at the world of education now and in the near future?
I mean, education is such a privilege, isn't it? It's a wonderful thing to be involved in higher education. Our students gain a great deal from it personally, but I think that universities have to regard themselves as both a private good for the university students they serve, but also as a public good for the wider society. And there is a danger that higher education becomes too elite or looks too elite to the wider society, and that the public loses trust in universities. So universities have to work very hard to maintain that public trust, that we are making a difference, we are contributing to our communities and the wider society, as well as just to the students that we serve. But, I've been involved in education for 40 years, and I still absolutely love it. It's a wonderful world to be involved in. Changing minds, creating new knowledge, unlocking creativity. It's really what my career has all been about.
Wow. Education is a privilege. I think that was just a brilliant sentence that you said, right? Thank you so much for your time, Professor Davies. It's been lovely chatting with you. I really hope that our delegation here also enjoys our visit as much as we enjoy talking to you right now.
Thank you.